Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to talk about a couple of issues I have with Texas Chainsaw Massacre so far. Overall, I'm very much enjoying the game. It's been a really, really nice break from DBD. Victim in this game is actually really fun. I'd say it's more fun than Survivor in DBD. Family, not so much. I'm having mixed results playing Family. It seems to be less engaging overall, but that's just a matter of opinion. I just want to talk about things that are mostly related to the fun of the game. As I'm sure you know if you've watched me for more than 30 seconds, I am not like super competitive. I always value fun over balance. Now, it's not to imply that you can't have balance in a game that's fun, but if I had to choose a unbalanced fun game or a balanced unfun game, I'm going to choose the fun unbalanced game every single time. And a lot of people that argue with me about this stuff when I say like, hey, these things are broken, I guess they don't ever watch me and they just assume I'm some super sweat or something. So please watch me for like 12 seconds before you make a judgment about that. But that's why most of these things are based off of just things that impact the fun of a match, not necessarily the balance of it. So first kind of thing we'll talk about here that's pretty obvious one is chain stuns indoors. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of clips now. You can basically keep a killer stunned in a doorway for like 45 seconds. I don't care what game it is, there is never a scenario in which removing player agency for like 45 seconds is ever a good idea. It does not matter what game it is. This is not DBD players coming in and bitching about something else. That's bad game design in every game ever made. There's a reason that most games and MOBAs and stuff have max like 5-6 second stuns, and even that's a lot. Disabling a player's agency for 45 seconds is horrible design, and that should not be a thing. Very easy fix. Make it so if a killer is stunned by a door, they are immune to being stunned for a couple of seconds. Just 2 or 3 seconds so they can get past the door. That's it. That's all you have to do. Very easy fix. Again, this is not even really an issue of balance because when you think about it, it's also wasting the survivor's time too. He's just hitting a guy with the door over and over again. He's not trying to escape. He's just disabling one person. If you do want to look at it from a balance aspect, you have to realize that there's more survivors than killers. So one survivor wasting one killer's time is still in the survivor's favor, but it's not that big of a deal. Other than that, it's just not fun. And people defending this, oh my God, when you bring up this point, they just go, oh my God, let people have fun. Stop trying to make this game competitive. No, motherfucker, what you're saying is let me have fun. Fuck everybody else. You guys got to realize that you have to promote overall fun in the game, not just fun for yourself. You got to think about the other side when you're making statements like that. You don't really give a shit about what they're doing. You just say, let me have fun. So people that are defending stuff like this, I hope you take an introspection and realize what you're actually saying is, let me have fun. Everyone else doesn't matter. It's just me. I'm the center of the universe. Don't be like that. So chain stuns like that is, there's definitely an issues. That in terms of like actual global things, that's one of like the only global complaints that I have. Everything else is more now like character specific. I'd say the only other global thing I can think of is that stealth is sort of irrelevant at the start of the game. There are times later in the game when it's useful, but stealth kind of doesn't matter at the start because the killers can't really do anything. They're in a cutscene. Bubba's watching his cutscene. The other family members are doing their little dance at the start. Stealth at the beginning doesn't matter because by the time that the killers gain control of their character, you can have people out of the basement already. And so what the hell's the point? Because Grandpa's going to get woken up anyway. That segues into another thing that I think feeding Grandpa is actually too slow. Games, in my opinion, last not enough time for the slowness of filling up Grandpa with blood to get their powers and stuff like that. I mean, there are records, not even records, there are normal games that last 90 seconds, and it's before Grandpa is even like level 2. And so I think feeding Grandpa for how quickly the games can go is just a little bit too slow. And I would love to see the speed of that increase just a tiny, tiny bit. Another thing I noticed is that killer point gain is like infinitely worse than victim point gain. As victim, I can open a door, stun a killer in a door, walk out and exit. I get like 2,000 points. I can kill 3 people as Bubba or something like that in this game, and I'll get like 1,500. It's not symmetrical at all. You get way less points as killer in this game, and that's a simple fix. Just bump up the point game for various actions. It's not a big deal. But that's something I think doesn't need to be addressed because if you're in a game for 10 minutes and you get 500 points, it doesn't feel good. Whereas with victim, you can get points pretty easily doing a lot of different things. Now more individual character-related things. First, we'll go for something that benefits the victims. I think Sissy's poison on hit. There's a particular build where you can do like, I forget, something blend, special blend, rubber legs, rubber boots, or something like that. I forget the exact name of perks, but basically you can rig her in a way to where she applies your poison on a hit, and once you get hit with Sissy's poison, you are slowed down massively, and then you are all discombobulated, so you start running in the wrong direction. Basically, she can just beat the shit out of you until you die, And I don't think that's even an intended thing. I don't think she's supposed to apply poison on every hit that she does. So I think this is more of a bug fix we need to look for, because that is not a very engaging thing as Survivor. You get hit by Sissy once and you're essentially just dead unless you're in the basement or a very safe area. But even then, she can keep up with you almost everywhere except for bubble walls. So I do think they need to address that, perhaps just straight up not working properly, because that seems very, very frustrating to go against. On another side, Johnny just seems like a shittier Bubba. I can't really find a niche that Johnny has that Bubba doesn't do better. Bubba can end up running faster. He has more lethality. He can straight up insta-kill people with the right setup. And Bubba can also break the barricades that Johnny can't do. Johnny just seems like a worse Bubba. I don't really know what his role is, so I feel like he needs something. His tracking is just worse than Cook's as well, so I don't really know what his point is. It just seems like if you have a Johnny on your team, it's just sort of any other slot would be better used. So give poor Johnny some buffs in some way. Now, his savagery, once he's on you in the open, he can kill you just as fast as Bubba can. But again, comparing it to Bubba, he doesn't have anything that Bubba can't do. So it doesn't really seem to make sense. Hitchhiker's traps, they seem kind of shit. The only real use I've seen with Hitchhiker's traps is abusing this bug where you put traps at the top of ladders, and if they step in it from the top of the ladders, which they have to, survivors get glitched and they can't go through walls until they go into a crawl space. It's like a very weird bug. That's the only real significant use of traps. Trapping objectives is useless because most people just will have a perk that instantly breaks the trap. They have a bone spike that instantly breaks the trap, or they can just say fuck it and just stand in the trap and get out of the trap in 1 second and then do the objective anyway. So doing objectives doesn't really work at all for Hitchhiker. Really, it only works if you place it in crawl spaces or commonly used intersections survivors might run through to aid you in your chase. And that is useful to some extent, but the fact that you can get out of the traps in like 1 second, it just feels like really sad to use because you only got 3 to use, and then, I mean, you can reset one and stuff like that, but I don't know. It doesn't feel very impactful when I trap people in traps. And maybe make them stay in their traps for longer or something like that, make them do more damage. I don't know, something. Just give them something a bit more, because they don't really feel... Like, the amount of times I've seen a trap outside a generator, and I just go, oh no, and step in it, and then just do the generator, it's not very intimidating, and they should probably do something about that. Connie. Connie is something that we have talked about since the beginning of the game in the very first test. Connie's power is just too strong. In a game where you can escape breaking 3 locks, and she can instantly break a lock, and with high proficiency in stealth, she can basically do one. She can do a third of the escape objective instantly. That would be the equivalent of Dead by Daylight, is like having a brand new part that did like 1.5 generators. We even had that on the release of Dead by Daylight, where brand new parts instantly did 1 gen, and even that was weaker than what Connie's power effectively does. So I don't know how there's any defending this. It's just being able to slash one of the locks away when you can have only 2 or 3 locks required to leave the entire map and just straight up win. I don't know. They got to do something with it. I'm going to let them decide what they need to do with it, but something I think needs to be done. It's just too strong. Connie being on the team on certain maps forces killers to remain in certain areas. For example, on the gas station, there is a door that does not require a generator to leave. So Connie can get out of the basement. She can manually do the gate, and then she can insta-break the gas station exit, and she's out. Connie can leave that map in like 50 seconds. And because of that, because people have knowledge of that, you essentially have to camp one of your family members at that area to ensure that they don't get through that. Now, Cook can padlock it, and if you have Cook, that makes it a lot easier, but if you don't, what the fuck are you going to do? You have to have someone just sitting there basically the entire game, because if you leave it for 30 seconds, she's out the door. And I think that's more the threat of Connie than the map of gas station itself being an issue. Because you have a similar scenario on the family house where someone can go upstairs, break out the window, not have to do a lock, kick the generator, and leave. But the thing is, that has way more tells. Breaking through the window, very loud. Kicking generators, very slow. There's no instant generator completion ability on any of the characters. So it's really when the locks are the short exit that Connie becomes so strong that you have to dedicate an entire player to just sitting in that area to stop the threat of her possibly even being in that area. And when you do that on a map like Gas Station, you have scenarios where you're not able to effectively control the other exits because the threat of the gas station exit is so big, you're basically just down a player, and then people will just do the fuse exit or the valve exit, and you just can't do much. I have seen games where people have had basically all 3 exits open within 90 seconds of the match starting in the gas station map because one of the players has to sit on that cheese door, as it's being called now. And yeah, I don't know if that's more an issue with the gas station map or Connie, but something's got to change there. It's probably Connie, but that is definitely an issue that they need to look at. for map design wise. Another thing about maps is the fuse exit, I think, is too strong. This is an issue of balance, in my opinion, but it also results in fun because when people can escape the map when 90 seconds of the map starting, that directly impacts the fun because I can't imagine the survivors are having fun just running up, doing the thing, running down, and leaving. That's not engaging. The killers don't get a chance to do anything. So balance and fun do kind of mesh a little bit here, where if you can do things so fast that no one even gets to play the game, then that is an issue of balance and fun at the same time. And I think the simple fix to the fuse exit is just making it work like how the gas valve works. How the gas valve works is they put it on and it powers up over a minute, but as it's powering up, the killer can go back downstairs or wherever to the valve is and turn it back off. It retains the progress, but that puts an area that survivors can distract killers with now, and it's balanced because there's a back and forth. Killers can go back and stop it, but survivors can go and restart it. However, with the fuse box, once it's open, you're just out. There's like barely any stopping you, especially on maps like the family house. You go upstairs, do the fuse, run downstairs. I don't even care if there's 2 killers on you. Most of the time, you have some power that can help you with that. Julie, you can give your stamina. Anna, you can just tank it. Leland can knock one of them down. You don't really have to run very far. You just go right downstairs. Even if there's killers in the way, just ignore them, and you can just run to the fuse exit that's right there. I do think killers should be able to go to the fuse box and close it, just like you're able to go to the pressure valve and stop it. I don't see why you would just let the fuse box remain open. It doesn't even make sense because... like, why would you just leave it open like that? There is one thing you can do as killer, and the current optimal play now is if the basement door is open, you send Bubba or one of the thick family members to go basically body block the doorway. But then if they have Leland, they just tackle you and go out anyway. So even that, there's no defending that. Overall, I think the fuse exits are a bit too strong. They should function more like the valve exits, which feel pretty balanced because there's give and take back and forth. But yeah, the fuse exits, there's also multiple fuses on the map too, so you can't even stop like acquiring one of the fuses because there's like, I believe there's like 3 on each map. So it's just like it's too many things for the killers to try to worry about defending at the same time for how quickly they can get out once it's actually open. And I realize a lot of these do feel like these lean towards favoring the family. And that's because now in the last portion of the video, if you've been made it 12 minutes, congratulations. I do think the game at a competent level leans toward it being victim-sided. I'm going to show you a match here at the end here where a friend of mine was playing, and within 90 seconds, the valve was open, the basement door was open, and people were escaping. 90 seconds of gaining control of their characters, the match was essentially over. And because it was on the gas station map, one of them had to guard the cheese door because they had no cook, and there was just physically nothing they could do to stop it. This is not like, oh my god, XD skill issue. It's that you don't even have control of your character for enough time to prevent certain things from happening. That's the main issue. There's no, like, the killers can get better at this. You can't get better at being immobile during a intro cutscene. You can't get better at survivors being out of the basement before you can physically control your character. There's no skill component there. It's just the game doesn't allow you to do it at all. And I think that's the issue. There's no scenario in which you should be able to have multiple exits of a map open in 90 seconds. I don't care even if the family is AFK, you should not be able to end a game in 90 seconds. I think that's just kind of bad game design. How do you fix that? I don't know. Again, I'll leave that up to the devs. I'm just talking about things that I find to be somewhat problematic. I don't think you should be able to do that. Even, like I said, even if the family is completely AFK, which they weren't in the video I'm going to show you. But yeah, I don't know what needs to change there. But I do find victim to be infinitely easier than family. I feel significantly stronger as a victim. Even in solo queue, I feel stronger. Victim requires way more family requires way more coordination. You basically need everybody on comm, so the requirement there is harder. It just seems like the game overall, at a competent level, is victim-sided. Sure, if you have baby players that don't know what they're doing, the balance goes out the window. It can be whatever the hell sided you want. But when you go against good players, it does feel like the game does not give you the options to counter it as killer. That's what it feels like right now. I might change my mind later. It's still very early into the game, and I completely understand that. But right now, that's my opinion of what's going on right now. So yeah, here's that match I was talking about, 90 seconds. Let me know if you know what they could have done differently in this match. I actually don't know what they could have done differently. Maybe I'm just missing something. But that's going to be it for me talking. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, man. Gamer alert.
Gamer alert. We got some gamers. At least I got my chainsaw this time.
Door is opened.
Yeah.
What door's open? Sorry.
I don't know what door. Just
Yeah.
one of them is open.
2 of them probably. They have 400 points. Oh no.
No, it's one.
Uh, oh, I see him right here getting a tool by cheese door. Want to stand there though? It's an Anna.
Oh my god.
I see Julie. Oh, they have pressure valve already opened.
I'm starting to stop it, but
It's behind the house, right?
yeah, back of house.
I'm chasing a Julie right now. Basement's
Oh
open.
my god.
Someone's right behind me.
Okay.
And if only we had Cook right now.
I can't even get
There was
around to the damn thing because there's so many barricades.
No, if Fuse is open, then you've already lost.